Hello and welcome to this tutorial in my 3D Studio Max series. I'm just going to run through the basics of 3D Studio Max 2019. Right, 3D Studio Max 2019 has some changes if you're used to the previous 3D Studio Max. A lot of the icons have changed. There's snazzy new little ones which took me a little while to get accustomed to. All of these are different. But if you haven't used a previous 3D Studio Max, then that's not going to affect you in the slightest. So we'll move on. Right, I'm just going to delete this. Okay, this is probably how 3D Studio Max would look to you when you first start, maybe with or without this up here. Okay, this workspace that I've currently got, this layout of windows, is the design standard, and that's kind of what I prefer, but it might be slightly different to you when you're first starting out. It might look slightly different. Actually, to be fair, I prefer this one. Yeah, I actually prefer this one much more. This is the one I usually use. Right, okay. What we've got here on the left is just, this is a list of all the objects in the scene. Currently it is empty, but if we were to create objects, which we're going to do in a second, this will start to appear, and these are the filters you can use to show exactly what kinds of objects you want to see in this list, so you can quickly find the objects that you want. Okay. Up here you've got your normal stuff like a file to create a new scene. You can save your scene, or you can import and export objects, which we'll look at in a later video. Edit. There's not really much. I would never open this normally. Tools. I would only ever open this if you're going to be creating arrays of objects. So if you just want to create a lot of objects in a structured pattern or something like that, that's the only time when I personally use the tools. Group is just for grouping objects. Yeah, there's not really, we hardly ever use these ones up here, or at least I don't. Okay, and the rest of these will become, their uses will become more apparent when we're actually starting to manipulate objects. Okay, first of all, let's start with the actual navigation. So if you're using a mouse, which really you should be, because it's horrible on anything else, the middle button of your mouse is panning. So to pan around, that's the middle button that I'm using there. Left click and drag is just select, so I'll be able to select objects. Right click gives me options. Currently useless as I have no objects. Okay, now Alt on your keyboard, so holding down the Alt button with your middle mouse button is rotate. Okay, and zoom with your middle mouse button. Okay, so rotate, pan, zoom. Okay. Perfect. Right, the most basic part, the most basic thing in 3ds Max or any other 3D content creator is creating content. So this plus sign up here is where we find our library of objects to create. Now everything that you will create in the 3D world will start off with one of these primitives. Okay. We'll just start off with the most simple of all, and that is a box. So we've selected box up here. We're going to move over here and click and drag. You can click and drag anywhere. I'm still holding it down. I will release, and without pressing down again, either up or down, to create this 3D shape, and click once again to finish the creation. Okay, that is a box created. Now, we're going to have a look at different ways we can view this box. As you can see, I'm spinning around it, remember, with the Alt middle key, and then the middle key to zoom, and then panning with the middle key. Now, right now, this box is made up of 6 faces. We can see the 6 faces, but the faces are created by things called vertexes, which are these points, and the lines that join them. we're going to be able to see the lines if we press F4 on our keyboards. Okay. Now you can see each of these lines. So no matter what you have in your 3D world, every object is created from these faces, lines, and vertexes. Those are the three fundamentals of the 3D world. Now we're just going to do something a little bit skipping into the future just to prove this point. I'm just going to go into this second tab here, which is our modifiers tab, and in the modifiers list I'm just going to search for edit poly. Now, okay, this is a modifier on top of the box. Don't worry about not understanding it just yet. This is just to prove a point for you. I'm going to select the vertices of this object, and now you can see them. Each of these are the cornerstones of this box. If we moved one of these vertices, it would change the appearance of this box. If we selected a line, the only thing the line does is it moves these two vertices. That's all a line is. It's just a connection between vertices. The vertices are the real cornerstone of every 3D model. But a face is 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, 4 vertices. That's all the face is doing is selecting these 4 vertices. The face doesn't always have 4 sides. The most elemental face, I'm just going to cut this here. The most elemental face has 3 sides. You cannot have a face with any less than 3 sides. Okay, so that's just showing exactly how 3D models are created and how they are displayed in the 3D world. All they are vertexes. Sorry about that. That was not what I tried to press. Vertexes, which are connected together by lines, which together form faces. Okay, so that is the basis of every 3D model you will encounter. I'm just going to get rid of that line, or I could just get rid of this modifier completely. This is just to show you some of the usefulness of modifiers. I will explain them more in depth in the future. But by doing all of this inside a modifier, I can just select the modifier. Nope, that's remove. And the box is as it was before. Everything is iterative, and you can remove any changes as long as you have them in separate modifiers. Okay, so here we have created our box. In the same way we can create a sphere, just click and drag. We can create cones, which are click and drag, then up, then click and drag, then up, then click again, and then drag without clicking. You might do a bit of practice with that one if you don't use them much. Cylinders, same. So yeah, that is how you create basic objects in 3dsmax, and that is how you navigate around them. Okay, I think that's enough for the basics video. I'll go on to the next one now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.